Good evening, race fans. Welcome to the C4 Motorsports Knoxville Showdown presented by Caldwell Co. Weather and C4 Motorsports. On behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, I'm James East up in the booth, giving you the action 1080p 60 frames a second. An absolute pleasure to be back here with our friends over at Throttle eSports. It's a very original race that they've got going on today, something we haven't seen before for a lot of these drivers, as they take to the dirt. Right now, single car qualifying is underway. Dylan Alt puts down a 21.98 on his first lap. He was the fastest truck out in practice. The number 42 Toyota is definitely going to be the man to watch here tonight. Again, a very unique race, one of the few money races this series has put on so far this season. Over $195 of prize money on the line. First place will bring home $100. Second place, $50. Third, $25. They've got a $10 award for the fast qualifier. $20 cash money to each heat winner. A unique back-to-front challenge, which we'll cover here in a moment, on what it's going to take to win the $50. Most laps led is $15, and the Hard Charger Award is $20. So a lot of money up for grabs here tonight at Knoxville Dirt. Going to be very, very exciting to see what happens. 36 trucks will make the feature event here tonight. I don't think it's going to be a problem. We have just under that signed up for the race tonight. A few different rules, especially for this race. Leader has the choice for restart and also controls starts and restarts. Leader must maintain the pace speed and a reasonable distance from the pace truck. They say about 2 trucks length is acceptable. iRacing controls the cautions here tonight. Self-spins will result in an EOL. If you self-spin twice, you get a 1-lap penalty, and if you do it 3 times, you are parked for the night. So very cool, unique things that they've got going on. Now, we covered the front-to-back challenge here tonight. So what that means is, in the race Dash for Cash, all 4 heat winners will receive a mandatory EOL, and the highest finisher of those 4 gets the bonus. So what that means, if you win your heat, you will receive an EOL at the beginning of the feature event. And then if you can charge back up to the front, you will receive the bonus for finishing the highest out of those 4 qualifiers. Still about 2 minutes left in qualifying. You're watching Russ Boisvert and the number 20 Chevrolet make his way around. He did a 23.14 his last lap by. His best so far is a 22.99, so not quite enough. About a second off from current provisional pole setter Dylan Alt. But a lot of talented drivers out here today. Definitely something way outside the norm. That's why they don't have the massive grids they've had in the past. But still expecting a lot of door-banging action as all these guys are out there burning laps. You see Russ doesn't want to come off track, trying to get as much seat time as he can on these slippery dirt conditions. Another very important note, you'll see that the inside of the track already starting to slick up. The drivers are packing the dirt in and starting to lay down rubber. The slicker that inside gets, the more exciting it can be, as that truck really wants to spin out from you. These trucks, they're made for ovals. They're not designed with dirt in the background. So these drivers can do everything they can to hold on to the horsepower and really hang it out. As you see the number 20, Russ Boisvert, still getting his practice. But let's check out David Morgan in the number 1. Morgan, one of the admins here for the Throttle eSports crew. A member of Ramsey Cole Racing. We'll see what the number 1 can do here in qualifying. Got about 15 seconds left in qualifying if I read my race notes right. And just like that, David Morgan's going to propel himself up into the 4th place spot on the grid. Not a bad run from David Morgan in that number 1 machine. But let's get ready to rumble, my friends. It is time to send it live for our first heat race of the night. It's going to be 15-lap heats today, followed by a 120-lap exciting feature. We'll see how the heats break down here in a moment, who's going to be out on track. See if we can get our broadcast overlay to cooperate here with us. And we're going to get ready to take to the field here. Dylan Alt's going to be in our front row. Jarrett Jones starting second. James Morris third. John Crow Sr. starting fourth. Russ Boisvert starting fifth. Zach Goodwin sixth. Ty Cole in seventh. Cody Morgan eighth. And then Andrew Lewis will be starting ninth tonight. There's a quick look of your starting grid for the first heat today. Again, the Throttle eSports, a very fun to run oval series here on the NASCAR Gander trucks. I've had the absolute privilege to bang doors with these competitors during their regular season before I got called away to the old broadcast booth. So it's a real joy for me to be back out here today surrounded by friends, watching them put on a good show. It's an open setup, from what I remember, a free-to-join league. So if you're watching along at home, check them out on the Throttle eSports Discord or on the iRacing League page. You can get on the action and drive around with some of the best. We saw a few 7,000 iRating drivers out here today getting ready. As you see James Morris, I believe it's going to be Morris, the number 18 machine, having very bad internet problems. But let's get ready to take it to the action. A 15-lap shootout. Dylan Alt, he is the fastest in qualifying and the fastest in practice. Can Alt in the 42 machine check out, or will Jarrett Jones in the number 45, starting on the outside, have something for him here today? It's anybody's guess, but one thing that is for sure, it is going to be a heck of a battle all night long here on the C4 Motorsports Knoxville Showdown. Waiting for that iRacing pace truck to come in. Give these drivers just another lap or so to check out the track, see what they're getting into. Showing Andrew Lewis, the number 12, as a DNS. James Morgan has worked his way to the back of the pack after having the internet problems on the grid. And again, open setup, so these heat races provide a good chance for the drivers to really spot what the track is developing into, make some adjustments after their heat if they need to account for the track getting slippier and slippier. That's the professional term for it, ladies and gentlemen. But here we go, Dylan Alt with a big launch. He's got Jarrett Jones on the outside. Jones gives the 42 a little bit of a tail tap, says, hey, I'm still here. So even though Alt was the fastest guy in qualifying, Jarrett Jones wants a piece of him in the 45. But Dylan Alt, an absolute professional. Dirt, oval, doesn't matter. Does a great job hanging it out, navigating the racetrack. And let's see what type of times Alt can put down out here. Alt getting the lead that he wanted early on, but Jarrett Jones all over him in the 45. Will take you on board with the 45. Look at the wheel work that these drivers are having to do to maintain the pace and that right angle all the way through the corner. And then probably the most important thing you're going to hear all night is throttle control, throttle control, throttle control. As we could hear Jarrett Jones really paddling the wheel, trying to keep the power down on this very slippery track. But look at that, Dylan Alt starting to get some gap going on. Let's check out Zach Godwin in the number 8. He's chased by Russ Boisvert in the number 20. But here comes James Morris, still having bad internet problems. Morris in the number 18. Disappears for quite a while at a time, so he's got to get that under control, hopefully before the main event tonight. Russ Boisvert in the number 20 machine, doing a great job hanging on to it. He knows this is more about seat time than anything. He should still be able to qualify for the main event, no problem. And what you're also going to see here today, oh, look at that. James Morris shows up inside of the number 20 machine and briefly kind of hops away there. Let's take it back. Dylan Alt running out front pretty dominantly here today. Dylan Alt in the 42 doing a fantastic job with the low line racing machine. Absolutely putting on a clinic. His last time by was a 22.37. His best of the session was a 22.21. You are going to see the track starting to slow down as that inside really slicks up. But with only 9 laps to go, Alt's out there getting as much practice as he can. And I believe Zach Godwin had a moment. That's going to allow Cody Morgan, our lone Canadian on track, the number 6 machine in the Chevrolet. He's going to gain a spot. A little bit of a wall tap there from Cody Morgan, able to collect himself and get back in the slick stuff, trying to get those right side tires in a little bit more grippy scenario if at all possible. One thing's for sure tonight, you're going to see a lot of banged up, dinged up, scratched up race trucks here at Knoxville. Talking to some of the drivers before we kicked off tonight, asking them, hey, what do you think? Is it better than Bristol? And for the most part, the unanimous answer was no, we don't like this as much. Much slippier without the banking at Bristol. Gives you a little bit less room for error. But Cody Morgan doing a great job, the number 6. Zach Godwin trying to catch up to him. Not sure if we're going to have the laps to make it happen. This is the battle for 6 on your screen right now. As you can see just how much they're hanging out, trying to carry as much angle as they can. Zach Godwin gets a bit of a run on the outside line, hucks it into 1. Will he able to make the outside pass, or will Cody Morgan come up the racetrack and throw a nasty block? It looks to me like Zach Godwin's getting clear just by a hair. Now Cody Morgan, can he answer? Morgan started off in 8th. He's moved his way up to 7th. Meanwhile, Zach Godwin started 6th, currently in 6th. And then Ryan Murray, he has an incident. He's going to come into pit lane. Jared Jones still doing a great job in 2nd place. The 45 machine looking fantastic. And as a reminder to everybody at home, this is for a points championship as well. So regular season points are in effect despite it being so outside the norm. Last week, these drivers found themselves at Iowa Speedway. This week, Knoxville Dirt. Next week, Chicagoland Speedway. So these guys having to do a little bit of everything. And then 2 weeks, August 3rd, they'll find themselves at a road course, Watkins Glen. So the Hung Throttle eSports series always putting on varied and clean racing. Dylan Alt, he's got lap traffic to worry about. He sees Cody Morgan on the outside. He's going to make a quick bump onto the inside of the number 6. Cody Morgan gets all sorts of unsettled going into 1, but white flag is out. It is Dylan Alt's race from start to finish here today. And for the most part, he had a clean truck. He had that one incident with Cody Morgan, but other than that, no problemo. Checkered flag is out. And that is going to do it here at the first heat of the night at Knoxville Speedway for the Hung Throttle eSports Showdown. Well done to Dylan Alt, Jared Jones, John Crow Sr. That's our top 3. Still lots of good racing left to come. If it's my understanding, we'll have at least one more heat race, if not 2, to try and get all the field ready for the feature main event. And we're going to get our second grid of the night. It's going to be Matthew Shelby starting up front, David Morgan starting 2nd, Dylan Canova will be starting 3rd, Zinla? Yeah, I believe that's Zinla Collins. My apologies if I got that wrong, Collins, but we'll be starting 4th. Caleb McCarthy starting 5th. Brandon Sauls will be starting 6th. Don Fish 7th. Shane Posey starting 8th. Patrick Rush starting 9th. And then Richard Malugani will be starting 10th to round out the field for our second heat of the night. You can tell just how much time is starting to pass in between heats. The track noticeably darker out there. We'll lead him a couple times by in that pace machine. Shane Posey having a moment early on, able to collect himself. Can Matthew Shelby qualifies out front? Can Shelby bring it home off the beginning? Or will be David Morgan able to come in and snatch it away from the 46X? One more time for the iRacing pace truck before we send these athletes out and about. They're going to hold it wide open, huck it left, and try and keep it safe. David Morgan getting right alongside of Matthew Selby. Pace car is in. Matthew Selby gets a great launch. Here comes Dylan Canova in second place. He's going to try and grab the spot from David Morgan. And just a fleet of trucks charging around here in Knoxville. Selby leads us off into the race. Dylan Canova second. David Morgan in third. In that beautiful #1 machine behind him, a two-way battle. That's McCarthy and Collins getting very close. McCarthy running the high line, the 23. Collins run the low line in the 49 machine. As we see a little bit of bumping and grinding going on out here, but some great racing there side by side. McCarthy actually, McCarthy has a moment. Almost loses it. Collins running the number 58 paint scheme. Lifetime shows him as 49 for some reason, so we'll have to get that corrected. But Collins is going to find himself still holding on to 4th place. In front of him, David Morgan Jr., the second, trying to catch Dylan Canova. Shane Posey has an accident. No caution coming out here so far. But great racing from our top 3. David Morgan trying to reel in Dylan Canova. Not sure if they're going to have enough time. 12 laps to go, so should be able to make something happen if he has the pace. Morgan put down a 23.27 last lap compared to Canova's 23.17. But let's grab you a quick replay of what happened to Shane Posey. Posey in the number 83 machine in front of you. Looks like he starts to correct a slide and just recovers a little too late and really drills. There it is. No, it looks like he was going to hit the outside wall, but once he realized he was cutting across track to the inside, locks it up. As far as dirt crashes go, that could have been way worse for the number 58. We'll take it back out to the action. David Morgan currently getting chased down by Collins. Collins running very aggressively in the 58. He was about 0.6 seconds faster than Morgan on that last lap. Meanwhile, Matthew Selby put down a 23.03. Canova put down a 23.06. And this time, Morgan puts down a 23.07. So all of these top 3 running within the 300ths of a second of their lap times. Just a little bit spaced out here. But man, look at Collins trying to make something work. Grab that podium for the heat race. Well, Matthew Selby doing a great job in the 46X, hanging it out, showing the youngins how to do it. Selby, no stranger to dirt ovals in the least. He's got tons of experience on the iRacing service. turning right to go left. Just a second, he's going to have lap traffic to contend with. It'll be 6 laps to go once he crosses the line. Also check out Brandon Sauls. See how he's doing back here. Sauls currently running in 7th place. He's lost 1 spot. Oh no! A big incident. Malugani, Sauls both involved in that. We'll grab a replay for you. So it looks like Malugani just kind of threw it away there. Does his best to hold on to it, but not quite able to make it happen. Gets into that outside wall after spinning it just a little too much. And here's where it comes in. Mr. Brandon Saul just absolutely creams them. So Sauls will be out. Malugani will also be out. Matthew Selby still running out front in the 46X. He's got a 3.2 second gap over 2nd place Dylan Canova. Behind Canova, he's got about 1.2 seconds on 3rd place David Morgan. And there is lap traffic again in the field. That's Shane Posey, finds himself between 2nd and 3rd place, doing his best just to hold on to it and avoid any carnage if he can. Canova, one of the racers for Ramsey Cole Racing, doing a great job running 2nd. We've got more incidents out on track. Shane Posey involved, Collins involved. No cautions coming out. We'll grab you a quick replay of that one. So Shane Posey in the 83, he gets involved. Collins gets involved. Let's see what happens here. Does Collins come up or does Posey come down? David Morgan has a big moment. I think that made Posey check up, and then just like that, he gets into the back of the 58. I can't fault him too much for that, just a little bit of bad luck, but white flag is out as Matthew Selby's going to come around this racetrack for the final time and secure the Heat 2 win of the night. Checkered flag is out, put it together, 46X. Matthew Selby's gonna win heat number 2 after a lot more carnage-filled crashes than what we saw in heat 1. So well done to Selby, a great run. Dylan Canova will finish 2nd, David Morgan in 3rd, Collins 4th, and McCarthy will finish 5th. These drivers are going to have a very quick warm-up, a whopping 5 minutes to do some last-minute tuning, spot what the racetrack is doing, see if it's starting to slick up or if they need to make any final changes. But right now, Dylan Alt is going to be one of the guys to keep an eye on. He won his heat race, he won qualifying, but he will receive an EOL at the start here to try and get that hard charger comeback award. As always, we'd like to thank C4 Motorsports and Caldwell Co. Severe Weather Net for sponsoring tonight's event. Couldn't do it without you guys. Always a pleasure to see guys helping support their favorite sim racers on and off the track. Also, I'd like to thank Line of Duty Firearms for helping out tonight's event and sponsoring the broadcast. Thank you again to Line of Duty Firearms. A lot of great guys coming together to put on a fantastic show. Going into the future, these guys will have every Tuesday race broadcasted. It's a different network, but it's still going to be covered and showing you the talent out here by these drivers. So check them out every Tuesday. If you're in the Hung Throttle eSports Discord, they'll be posting their links for all to see. You can keep track of the action even when you're not out there doing your racing yourself. You can still tune in and support your favorite drivers. We know we have drivers from across the world cheering on, friends of drivers cheer on their favorite drivers. And speaking of that note, if you're tuned in tonight and you have a favorite driver out there, let us know. We always try and give TV time to everybody, and we do our best to give your favorite driver the TV time they deserve. Get those sponsorship logos up front and center. and just support good grassroots racing that you find here at the Throttle eSports League. One thing that's going to be very exciting to watch tonight, especially these hard chargers that have won their heat races, is how much traffic they're really going to have to work through. "20 cars are registered. We're not sure if we're going to see 20 cars take to the field. We've only got about 10 drivers out there putting down their warm-ups laps. I'm excited though, ladies and gentlemen. 120 laps here at Knoxville. We've seen what can happen once the cars start banging against each other. Thankfully, no cautions in those heat races. I'm not sure if that was possibly a design on purpose, that there wasn't going to be any cautions. Alt's putting down a few laps, trying to get everything dialed in that 42 machine. Selby in the 46X has put down his laps, said, hey, I'm very happy where we're at. Comes in, maybe makes a couple of tweaks. He's got a minute left in this warm-up session before they go out for our feature event here. But guaranteed to be a good one. The first time these guys have ran a dirt race in quite a while. Looking at the previous results, this is the only dirt race they've done so far this season. They did not do Bristol dirt, from my understanding. Some of these drivers have little to no dirt experience. They're primarily asphalt oval racers, but still getting out there trying to maintain some points and bring something home. Speaking of points, right now Shane Posey's still out front. He's got a 29-point gap over second place. John Crow Sr., then Richard Malugani finds himself 33 points behind the leader. Now, what you're going to realize there is that's not a lot of guys that have been out front today, but they're out here putting down some good laps, trying to salvage some points. But you know what that sound means, ladies and gentlemen? It's time to go racing for tonight's feature event here at Knoxville. Let's take a look at the grid. It's going to be Dylan Alta out front, Matthew Selby starting second, Jared Jones starting third, Dylan Canova starting fourth, John Crow Sr. starting fifth, David Morgan sixth, Russ Boisvert starting seventh, Collins will be starting 8th today, Ty Cole starting 9th, Caleb McCarthy starting 10th, Zach Godwin 11th, Don Fish starting 12th. Then you've got Cody Morgan starting 13th, Shane Posey 14th, James Morris starting 15th, Brandon Saul starting 16th, Ryan Murray will be 17th, Richard Malugani in 18th, Andrew Lewis will be starting 19th, and then Patrick Rush will be starting 20th to round out our field here for the main event. 20 drivers, only one going to walk away with a grand prize of $100, but still lots of other money on the line. We're going to look forward to a few EOLs to be given right off the get-go here, as those heat race winners will get shuffled to the back. Pace truck is out. Matthew Selby gets ready for his EOL. Not quite sure why the fireworks are out already, but you gotta love it. Maybe a pre-fireworks show here at Knoxville. Can't say I've seen that one before, ladies and gentlemen. So you're going to see Selby working his way to the back. And then you're also going to see Dylan Alt work his way to the back. So that means the front row is going to be Jared Jones, Dylan Canova, as the fireworks absolutely rocking here. Oh, these guys are going to extend the restart, throw a caution, and get everybody sorted out, especially as those two heat race drivers have to work themselves out to the back. The admins do not want to start this prematurely. It's a lot on the line. They've got to do everything perfect from both a race control perspective as well as for all the drivers out here tonight are going to have to hit their marks for 120 laps. Expecting the pace truck to come in any moment here as we get ready to fire up this party. We had a comment that says, hey, trucks that aren't a whole lot of fun to drive on road courses, how can we make it better? Throw them on dirt. Well, if the NASCAR guys can do it, so can the athletes here at Throttle eSports, but all eyes are on Jared Jones, starting on the inside in the 45 Toyota. On his right side door, Dylan Canova in the number 70. Pace truck is coming in. Here we go for 120 laps here at Knoxville. Dylan Canova gets a great launch, dives it into one. Dylan Canova is going to run that high line in the number 70. That is a whole lot of trucks on a very small track trying to make something happen. 18 drivers were able to take to the race tonight out of 20, so not a bad start for these guys as you see what carnage can possibly develop as there's trucks all over the racetrack. Jared Jones still hold on the lead. Dylan Canova all over the number 45 of Jones. They're going to go right tandem. As it looks like a very slippery parking lot behind him as everyone else still trying to work out position. But right now, Jared Jones, Dylan Canova putting on one heck of a show. Meanwhile, Dylan Alt has already worked his way back up to 7th place. Doing a great job chipping away at the pack, getting back up there. As well as Matthew Selby following right behind Alt. He's moved his way up to 8th. So our heat race leaders that got their EOLs are currently running 7th and 8th right now, trying to quickly work through the pack of trucks and not lap traffic, but traffic in front of them as we see Jared Jones push down his best lap of the race, a 22.65. Dylan Canova put down a 22.89 his last time by. Everybody's extremely quick out here, doing a good job keeping the action clean as we click off the 5th lap of the day. Jared Jones starting to get a lead. Dylan Canova about 0.7 seconds back. But let's look here at Matthew Selby, currently running 6th place. He's behind Dylan Alt. Alt won his race. Selby won his heat race. So these are the battle for the hard chargers. As our fastest guys trying to get their way back up front. We do have a crash at Shane Posey. Not sure if the caution is going to come out here. Doesn't look like it's going to, but look at that. There goes Matthew Selby, diving down the inside. A bit of a slide job. That's Selby getting around John Crow Sr. Meanwhile, Dylan Alt has worked his way back up to 3rd from starting at the very back of the field. Alt in the 42 Toyota, doing everything he can to regain those positions, trying to make it all the way up front. Alt has made his way up into 3rd place. He sees Collins in the number 58 machine right in front of him. He's got to be careful getting around all this traffic. Oh no, another crash. Cody Morgan, Richard Malaguni involved. Let's get a replay of that one for you. So you're watching Cody Morgan in the number 6. Looks like Mulligani just came up the racetrack and drilled the side of the number 6. That's going to send them both spinning. Not terrible damage, but it could have been much, much worse. The number 6, Cody Morgan, able to sacrifice a rear bumper there. Keep the front of the truck off the car. But now your race leaders, Jarrett Jones, Zenla Collins, Dylan Alt making his way up to 3rd. Matthew Selby in 4th. Dylan Canova will round out our top 5 here. So already, with such few laps, you've seen the talent of Alt and Selby move back up to the front, gaining roughly 15 positions to get back to where they originally started. Alt, I believe this is his first entry into a Hung Throttle eSports event. Selby also showing as not entered one of these events before, so a couple of newcomers in the series trying to come out. It was a officially open race. If you signed up for the league, there's no entry fee. You can show up to run tonight. So these guys saying, hey, there's a little bit of money on board. I'm okay at dirt racing. Let's see if we can go out there, huck some trucks around, and try and bring home some money. And right now, Dylan Alt, Matthew Selby looking to be in a good position to do that here. That will be our first caution of the night. So well done, these competitors, able to do a great job. But let's take it back to the action. Jarrett Jones gets a great launch, but now he's got pole setter Dylan Alt breathing down the back of the 45. Behind Alt, Matthew Selby. He's in the mix of it in the 46X Ford. 2 Toyota Tundras out front. The Ford F-150 currently running 3rd. Here comes Alt, trying to dive it down the inside of 45, Jarrett Jones. Jarrett Jones is going to defend. Going into 3 and 4. Jones absolutely hanging it out, but here comes Alt right on the inside, trying to pressure him. Alt might be able to make it stick here. He goes for the inside pass. They almost touch, a very, very close one. They're going to dive into turn 1 side by side, but Dylan Alt is going to get the position from Jarrett Jones. Jarrett Jones is going to try and get back up there, put the pressure on Alt because he knows behind him Matthew Selby is in tow, trying to catch up. Selby also wants up front. He won his heat race. A big moment from Dylan Canova as you see that truck starting to snap on him. Jarrett Jones doing a fantastic job, able to slow down the pace of Matthew Selby just a bit. Jones is up 1 spot from originally started, but a caution is out. Russ Boisvert involved. Brandon Saul's involved. Let's grab you the replay on that one. So Russ Boisvert, he's the number 20 machine on the inside. Looks like the 58 just kind of gets a little bit out of control. No contact there, so that might have been enough to spook Boisvert. And then Saul, as you see it for the second time today, just barely gets into him. So well done to a lot of these drivers, able to avoid the shenanigans that were about to transpire in front of them. Great driving all the way around. And that's going to re-rack them once more for our second caution of the night as we click off lap 17. It'll still be, now it'll be Dylan Alt out front, Jarrett Jones second, Matthew Selby third, Dylan Canova fourth, and then David Morgan will be in fifth for this restart. So things starting to get a little shaken up, but man, the absolute racecraft of Dylan Alt, Matthew Selby, able to qualify up front, get their mandatory EOLs, go all the way to the back, and then make it happen all over again. A testament to how good these drivers can really do out here. going to get ready to re-rack them here at Knoxville. But every time we get these cautions, it can shake things up. Some of our faster trucks have worked their way back up front, but the last thing they want to do is get collected in anything that might be going on. And cautions always breed cautions, especially on a short dirt track where it's very hard to aggressively get off the line. But here we go, Jared Jones, Dylan Alt, our front row. Jones will be on the outside in the 45. Alt will be on the inside in that 42. Lowline Racing sponsored Toyota. Waiting for that iRacing pace truck to come in. Still 100 laps left of the action here today. Pace truck is in. Dylan Alt gets a huge launch, gets past Jared Jones, and here comes Matthew Selby running the low line in that 46X. Not quite able to make it stick right there against Jared Jones, who's running the outside. Jones gets a better drive. We'll see how deep he dives it in here. But can Matthew Selby make the slide work? We see Selby running a very low line and then drifting up the racetrack, as opposed to Jared Jones, who's running the high line all the way around. Looks to me like Selby was about a 1/10 of a second faster that last lap, so he's got something working well for him on the inside. But nose to tail they go. Lots of hard racing going on, and a yellow flag is out as Cody Morgan has an incident. Cody Morgan in the number 6 machine. Looks to me like he may have been a little bit higher than he wanted. No, he's trying to check up. The number 58 had a moment in front of him. We said it just a while ago, cautions breed cautions. Another one comes out lap 22. And now it's going to be the 2 pole setters and the winners of their qualifying. Dylan Alt, Matthew Selby out front. Teammates in the 42 and, the 42 and the 46X will be out front. No, it still shows Jared Jones held on to second place for that one. So well done to Jones in the 45 machine, doing a great job keeping it out there, making something happen. Jared Jones racing with 4Link Motorsports in his 45 Toyota today. Here we go. Dylan Alt gets a great launch. Matthew Selby is going to work his way down the inside line. Jared Jones, Dylan Canova still running the high line here, trying to find as much moisture in the track and traction as they can, but it looks like Matthew Selby in the 46X is going to get clear. Right as we say that, he gives the wall a little bit of a love tap. Oh, and then the number 45, Jared Jones, gets just a little bit of a bump from Dylan Canova in the number 70 machine. A lot of hard racing going on already. Current race leaders Dylan Alt, Matthew Selby, 1 and 2. They know that every time we get a restart like this, it can really shake things up. Also, I'd like to give a quick correction. It's Matthew Selby and Jared Jones that are teammate. Dylan Alt does not appear to be a member, or they're all 4Link Motorsports trucks from my understanding. Nope, I'm wrong. My apologies, everybody. Dylan Alt running the 42. He's with Lowline Racing, so he is not teammates He has Matthew Selby, Jared Jones. They are a team currently running 2 and 3 right now. But Dylan Alt putting on a heck of a show here. As you see Jared Jones trying to catch back up to Matthew Selby, make something happen. Meanwhile, towards the middle of the pack, you got David Morgan. He's holding on for dear life. Gets into the back just ever so briefly of James Morris in the 18. Morgan's going to try and make something happen, run the low line here, see if he can carry a bit of a drive out of the corner. Seems to be making it work, dives it down low once more inside the C4 Motorsports sponsored 18 of James Morris. Can Morgan make it? No, he cannot. Has a big moment, corrects the spin. Well done on the save. So a fantastic save by David Morgan. That's what we like to see. Oh, right as we pan to him, Matthew Selby has a brief moment with the wall and gets to know his safety barrier just a little bit better. Oh no, a bad crash has developed. Ryan Murray involved, Cody Morgan, Shane Posey all involved. Ryan Murray in the number 90 Toyota. Let's see what happens here. It looks like he gets pulverized from the number 6, Cody Morgan. And then poor Shane Posey, nowhere to go, gets involved in the carnage out here. Still lots of racing left to go. We're only on lap 30 of 120 here tonight. As we have our first caution of the night, excuse me, our fourth caution of the night. A little, right around a quarter of the way done. These guys will go back to eye pacing just for a moment, re-rack the field. So you know right now, Dylan Alt, Matthew Selby, our race leaders, can't be ecstatic about this. Every time there's a caution, it allows those guys to catch just up, but just a little bit. And that can make things much more exciting going into turn 1. All it takes is one driver to miss their mark and come to the back of you. You can find yourself spinning or worse. Here at Knoxville, a very, very half-mile, very flat track. Here we go. We're back underway. Dylan Alt still out front. Matthew Selby in second. Jared Jones doing his best to hold on to third place. As here's your battle for third place. That's Jared Jones on the inside. Oh no! He gets into the back of Matthew Selby. Matthew Selby goes around, gets thrown into pit lane. The pace car does not come out. Dylan Alt is going to be able to extend his lead here. And oh, that's terrible luck for Selby. Now the good news is for Selby, we've seen him come through the field once before. We're only 35 laps into this event. 36 is the leader crosses the line. He very well, statistically, he'll have at least one caution to get back up here and in the mix of it. Dylan Canova's worked his way up to second. Here comes Jared Jones on the inside. James Morris in the 18. He also wants a piece of it. It is a three-way battle for second right here as they go almost 3 wide going through the corner. Dylan Canova, James Morris, Jared Jones putting on a show here at Knoxville. Drivers starting to get aggressive, starting to use that wall just a little bit more, bumping and grinding. It's still Canova running the high line, edging out Jared Jones for third. James Morris in the 18, he's watching, trying to make a move on Jared Jones in the 45. Canova and Morris are running the high line. Jones running low to mid, trying to squeeze through those corners, keep the traction down with these slick racetrack. These drivers absolutely hanging it out here tonight. Jarrett Jones, he's going to dive it down the inside of Dylan Canova. Canova's going to find himself in third now. James Morgan still running the outside, absolutely hucking it in the 45 machine. Number 18 machine, excuse me, of James Morris, really showing what it's like to really flat track around this flat course they're on. Canova doesn't want to lose the spot. He dives it on the inside of James Morris. He's going to edge him out on the timing loop, but it looks to me like Canova just had a moment, got a little bit too tight. That's going to allow Collins to make their way around. Man, great race from start to finish. So Dylan Canova's had a roller coaster overnight so far. Trying to get back up there and battle with Collins. Yellow flag is out as Shane Posey has an incident. Posey, number 83, having a rough night, but staying out there trying to collect some points. Posey is our current points leader here. So even though he might not be a self-proclaimed dirt racing professional, he's doing his best to try and salvage some points as he just gets loose all on his lonesome and spins it around. For the most part, that was a pretty good green flag run. And you know who's got to be appreciative of the caution is the 46X of Matthew Selby. Qualified up front. Got his mandatory EOL, went to the very back, and then worked his way back up front again before getting collected on a restart. We're going to re-rack the field with our fifth caution of the night. We're seeing some love for the 4Link Racing guys out there. We appreciate Dylan Wilson tuning in, supporting the favorite drivers. $16 drivers still find themselves on the lead lap, make it 17 as Lucky Dogs appear to be in effect. Just like that, we see a few guys coming in trying to get their trucks worked on. One of the benefits and safeties of having so many cautions, it allows these drivers to get back out there after doing a bit of truck repair and getting things dialed in. So odds are, even if you find yourself a lap down, you can still be in it. Green flag is out. Here we go once more. Dylan Alt out front. Jarrett Jones second. James Morris third. Morris is up 12 spots here tonight, so he is having a great run in his number 18 Chevrolet. But now he's got Dylan Canova to contend with. The number 70 is charging hard, trying to get back up there to the front. Canova started fourth, which was running way up at the pointy end for a while after a little bit of bad luck. Man, James Morris doing everything he can to absolutely hanging out. Yellow flag out once more. John Crow Sr. has a big incident. John Crow in the number 54 Monster Energy machine spins. Looks to me like all by himself. We'll see what happens here. I don't expect to see any contact. He doesn't have a lot of people behind him. Just kind of gets on that inside hump here in Knoxville, unsettles the truck, and spins him around. And then Cody Morgan does a good job avoiding him. That'll bring out the sixth caution of the night here at lap 47. So we are slowly making progress here around Knoxville Speedway. And these admins do have a rule: if you're involved in so many incidents, if it's 3 or more crashes, you'll get a part for the night. So the drivers having to keep that in the back of their mind. Shane Posey, current points leader, is out for the night. Let's see, we're going to get ready to re-rack them. It'll still be Dylan Alt, Jared Jones out front. Dylan Alt gets a great launch in the 42. Jared Jones gets a little bit of a love tap from Dylan Canova in the number 70. Canova goes low. Jared Jones goes high. Who's going to come out top going in out of the corner? It looks to me like it's going to be Jared Jones takes the second place, but he gets through the wall. That's going to Dylan Canova dive to the inside, see if he makes something. Oh no! Jared Jones all over the outside wall, but just as that happens, Canova has a moment and starts to straddle that inside hump. Jared Jones is going to get very lucky with that one, holding on to second place. James Morris coming in hot in the number 18 machine, trying to get by Jared Jones in the 45. Morris absolutely hanging out the rear end of that number 18 Chevrolet. These guys are searching for as much traction as they can find, but at this point it is going to be tough to establish that outside line. Also getting cooked in. There's just a few inches between traction and a hard wall here at Knoxville, but it looks like Jared Jones starting to get dialed in. Don Fish has a crash that brings out once more another caution. Caleb McCarthy, John Crow Sr. also get involved. So that's Shane, no, that's Don Fish, the number 58 we're watching. Watch on the left side of your screen. Everybody's getting very unsettled there. Looks like he just hits the number 38 pretty hard. That's going to spin him around. And then Kayla McCarthy in the 23, she has a self-spin. Gets drilled by the 54 as they go side by side. Oh, and then another hard impact. I believe that's Cody Morgan involved, and I'm not quite sure who's in the Casio machine. I think Ryan Murray, if I'm seeing live timing correctly. That was Murray in the Casio sponsored truck. A huge hit. It's going to take out several drivers here. Lap 54, we still have a whole lot of laps to go, have not even approached the halfway mark. We've got about 65 laps left. So the field's going to quickly get formed up so they can get back out there. It'll be lap 56, I do believe, on the restart. Dylan Alt back out front. Jared Jones second. Dylan Canova third. James Morris fourth. Ty Cole fifth. Ty doing a good job staying consistent, slowly working his way up there. Here we go. Dylan Alt gets a great launch in the 42 machine. Jared Jones run the outside line behind them. Looks like carnage is about to happen. I saw a lot of people starting to check up. Looked like James Morris hucked it in a little bit more sideways than he planned to. Morris all across the racetrack able to hold on to it. But that's going to allow Dylan Canova to comfortably gain third place. Collins moves up to fourth. David Morgan into fifth. As just like that, you see Morris fall all the way back to ninth place after having a very hard run up front. One thing is for certain, not a lot of trucks escaping tonight. as a big crash. Matthew Selby, Ty Cole involved. Oh, then it goes from bad to worse. Matthew Selby in the 46X machine. Our original hard charger had to get his EOL, work his way back up front, then involved in an incident. Looks like he just got onto the inside of Ty Cole in the 41, sends them both into the outside wall. And oh, it just gets worse and worse for the 46X as he gets drilled by two other drivers. Dylan Canova, Ryan Murray, both involved in that. So the Matthew Selby, he was kind of the fan favorite here to try and bring it home if it wasn't going to be Dylan Alt, but finding himself with a very beat-up Ford F-150 at this point. Dylan Alt still out front. Jarrett Jones second. Collins moved up to third. Zach Godwin into fourth, and then David Morgan in fifth. Our current top five. A lot of good machinery has been destroyed out here as drivers doing their best to stay out. I believe Matthew Selby in the 46X, he's going to try and stay out. Just try and survive as long as he possibly can, hoping some other drivers have a worse night and are start collecting some machinery. We see MacArthur, she gets the lucky dog in the 23 machine. She will still find herself a lap down after this one, but if she can stay in that lucky dog position, things are looking pretty good for her to get back out there in the mix. As we approach the halfway mark, it has been a caution-filled bloodbath here at Knoxville. 8th caution, 60 laps into it. Ryan Murray coming out of pit lane. Getting ready for the restart here today. It's going to be Alt on the inside line in the 42. On the high side, Jarrett Jones. Alt gets a great launch. Jarrett Jones lags behind just a little bit. Jarrett's done a fantastic job holding on to it. Looks like at Collins in the 58 machine, hold on to third place, the highest they've been all night in that Chevrolet. Zach Godwin doing a very respectable fourth, and then Brandon Sauls has worked his way back up to fifth here. So well done to Sauls. He's up 11 spots from where he originally started today. Involved in a couple incidents, but able to maintain right in that outside line, using every inch possible for him. I've got to say, ladies and gentlemen, almost impossible to catch all the action. There's such good racing going on from the very front to towards the back of the field, as Saul's using every inch of that that racetrack, leaving some pain of the 76 on the corner of almost every lap. He looks like he has the drive over Zach Godwin here. What's going to happen? Saul's runs high. Godwin started off low, then drifted high. Who's going to carry more speed onto the straightaway? It looks like it's going to be Sauls. Gets into the 8, gets pinched. Oh no, things go from bad to worse. Zach Godwin gets collected. They get the trucks pointed back in the same direction. But that's some heavy damage for several of these drivers. We said it early on, but you can pretty much guarantee nobody's walking away clean out of this tonight, except for maybe Alt in the 42's got the cleanest race truck on the track as he is just putting down some laps. He's got a comfortable 1.7 seconds over second place Jarrett Jones. Let's look at this. Matthew Selby has retaken fourth place after arguably one of the worst nuts. Oh no, Sauls gets a tail tap. And they are doing their best to crash behind him. That's Brandon Sauls involved. And I believe James Morris once again. No caution here so far. All these drivers just trying to survive at this point, except for Alt, who's out there putting on a fantastic run. Matthew Selby in the 46X, can't believe he is still running with that machine. He's taken so many hits, and these Ford trucks, the Chevrolets and the Toyotas, can be a little bit sensitive on how you hit them. Sometimes you can have a big collision and no engine problem, and sometimes it just takes a little bit of a front tap on that front bumper to damage a radiator, but now these guys have started to get a run developed. Here comes Matthew Selby trying to chase down Collins right in front of him. Collins' last lap was a 24.1 compared to Selby's 23.69. So Selby almost a half second faster a lap. Selby doing a good job, able to get back out there, especially all the damage he's had throughout the race. You can't even say it was early on, just from start to finish. Selby's been having a pretty unfortunate night. Bad luck not really coming his, bad luck unfortunately affecting his race in a very negative manner. But look at this, trying to make the pass for third. Selby's gonna go inside. Collins runs the high line. Who comes out on top out of the corner? We see a lot of smoke in front of these competitors. Looks like Selby's going to have it going into this corner. And Selby's going to get around Collins clean as can be. A lot of dry dirt starting to kick up. You see how much rubber is laid onto the track. The track surface only getting more and more slippery. These guys starting to burn a little bit of rubber. So in front of Selby, you got Jared Jones. You've got possibly some trucks blowing up there. I'm not quite sure what's happening. Seeing a lot of black smoke. Somebody's burning oil somewhere. Look at the smoke going through this section of racetrack. Ty Cole, that might be Ty Cole that blew up. Somewhere out here, ladies and gentlemen, there's a truck starving out of fuel. Or not fuel, excuse me. I think Cole I don't think he blew up. I think he just had a moment and it threw him on the inside of the thing. Let's see here. So I don't think Cole blew up. Maybe he did blow up. Cole. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened here, ladies and gentlemen. Somewhere out there was a truck that was blowing up. I'm not sure if it was Richard Malagani. No, he just took an aggressive pit is what we're going to call that. Nope, the blowing up, the truck is still out there blowing up, whoever it may be. Dylan Alt out front. Jared Jones in second. It might be one of these two trucks. It could be the 23 of Caleb McCarthy. Or it could be the 54 of John Crow Sr. With some of these guys, I think it might be Crow having engine problems. That is a lot of smoke coming off the 54. Dylan Alt doing his best to safely navigate this traffic in his low-line racing number 42. He still has the cleanest truck on the racetrack, trying to keep it that way. Makes quick work of Caleb McCarthy. Now he's going to try and put John Crow Sr. a lap down. Makes it clean, well done. At this point, I'm wondering if that's the track smoke too, if they've laid down so much rubber. They're starting to burn off tires. Dylan Alt still out front. Jared Jones second. Matthew Selby has worked his way back to third after several big impacts. Man, that smoke is comical out here in Knoxville. They are really billowing. If it is dirt smoke, I've never seen it that blue oil color before. I can't imagine it's dirt. It is not. Somebody has let all the smoke out of that machine. They've got to get off the track. Just like that, they do. That is going to be the 58 machine, who I believe is Ryan Murray. No, I got that one incorrect. I'm not quite sure who that is. No, that's going to be Don Fish. Still staying out there despite billowing smoke. I can't believe he hasn't been removed from the racetrack for being an obstacle. It's only a matter of time before that engine completely lets all the magic out, as he's put down a smoke screen for at least 10 laps at this point. Dylan Alt still running great, working through all sorts of lap traffic. That's Russ Boisvert right in front of him. Alt's going to play it very, very safe here. Only make a pass when he feels he can make it extremely cleanly and is not going to collect himself. No, excuse me, that's Dylan Canova about to go a lap down. Canova gets on the inside of the track to let the race leader by. Now Dylan Alt's going to work on David Morgan Jr., so he's lapped up to 7th place so far. Alt putting on a fantastic show. Morgan's going to give him the preferred line. Ooh, Morgan has a moment. Back in, steps out. And I think we saw James Morris right in front of me. He has a big moment, able to collect it in his C4 sponsored machine. Man, Dylan Alt putting on an absolute clinic here today. He does have a brief moment, gets in the wall. That's going to put some of the first few scratches on that 42. But so far, so good. Less than 35 laps remaining. Alt just hammering off lap times. He's a full second a lap faster than anyone on track right now. And now he's going to start working on lapping up to 5th place. That's Zach Godwin. So Alt has it all figured out. Jared Jones, Matthew Selby hoping for a caution at this point. Second finds himself Jared Jones about 8.5 seconds back from race leader Dylan Alt, while Matthew Selby finds himself 11.5 seconds back from race leader Dylan Alt. Still, anything can happen with 35 laps to go. All these competitors are driving the track more than they are their competitors. Alt keeping it very, very clean out there in the 42. As the track slickens up and you see him searching for traction, you start to see a couple more wall taps going on. But right now, he is lapped all the way up to 5th place. Yellow flag does come out. David Morgan has an incident. Watch Morgan in the number 1 machine. And then in this same section, we also have Jared Jones involved in an incident as well. So we'll have to keep an eye on Jones's vehicle and see what happened to the number 45. So just like that, you see David go spinning around. Let's see if Jared Jones comes up and gets involved. Oh, Morgan was trying to get out of the way just as Jones came around. So that was 2nd place. Jared Jones finds himself collected. And then Cody Morgan also shows himself involved in an incident. Not quite sure what happened here to the number 6. So not quite sure what showed for Cody Morgan, but carnage and heartbreak is the story of the night here at Knoxville. Lap 88, Jared Jones finds himself having to go to pit lane. Our 9th caution of the night. It has been nothing short of absolutely hectic. We're going to re-rack the field here at Knoxville, send them out. The field getting, smaller and smaller as a lot of drivers getting collected. Let's get ready to take a go. It's going to be about 30 laps left in the session. Dylan Alt with a great launch, but here comes Matthew Selby in the 46X. He started up front, went all the way back with the EOL, then did it all again. And this is going to be the battle for second, really shaking up. It's Matthew Selby, Collins, Godwin, all involved trying to get out there. Yellow flag is out. I'm not quite sure why. I don't see an incident on live timing. We'll have to figure that one out from race control. Not quite sure what happened there. Who might have caused the big spin? As always, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching along at home, we greatly appreciate all of our viewers that give us the likes on these videos, that hop in the chat when they can to cheer on their favorite drivers. It supports your favorite drivers. It supports the Throttle eSports League, and it supports the Team Goon Squad broadcasting channel. So thank you, as always, to those that tune in and cheer us on. We could do it without you guys. It is always greatly appreciated. It'll be less than 30 laps to go once they do the restart here. Dylan Alt doing a fantastic job staying out there. Matthew Selby, gotta be the story of the day. He's had a lot of problems ever since he had that restart where he got his EOL, worked his way all the way back up front, and then one little tail tap almost ruined his night. But you see what hard work can do, and that's pay off as the 46X worked his way up to second. Collins running third, Godwin running fourth, and James Morris running fifth. We may see one more driver join the lead lap with Lucky Dog. It looks like it's going to be 5 drivers on the lead lap for the restart. 27 laps remaining in this feature. Matthew Selby on the inside. Dylan Alt on the outside. But Alt gets a great launch. Selby runs the low line. You've seen Alt run the high line all day long. Alt obviously has something figured out in that 42 machine. He's been the dominant machine so far tonight. Right here, here's your battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th. Zach Godwin involved up front. James Morris still in Canova. We see James Morris, he's involved with a crash. Ryan Murray involved with a crash. No caution coming out though. Gonna keep it green for these guys. 26 laps to go. There's a whole bunch of drivers mixed up right here trying to make something happen. Zach Godwin currently chasing Zinla Collins in the 58 machine. James Morris in the number 18 finds himself about 16 seconds back. So this is a lot of lap traffic that Godwin and Collins are finding themselves interjected with. Everybody's out here racing for position, trying to get back the pack out there, get that lap back. You see Dylan Canova in the number 70. He's got a big moment. Holds onto it on the apron, but slows down the pace just a little bit here. Let's check on Dylan Alt. He's got a commanding lead right now, about 2.3 seconds over second place Matthew Selby. Collins finds themselves about 5.2 seconds back from the race leader. So the top 3 getting a little bit stretched out. Alt running out of track there, gives a pretty aggressive tail slide all the way around. And you can really see how bumpy this track is starting to get. David Morgan, the number 1 machine, he's involved in another crash. Able to get off the track in time to avoid keeping the caution from coming out here. As here we go, Dylan Alt's favorite part of the race, navigating lap traffic. If there was ever an opportunity for somebody to accidentally ruin a race, it is here. As Alt is going to lap all the way up to 5th place. That's James Morris, number 18. Morris currently running 5th here right now, but about to be put down a lap as Alt is a man on a mission. Alt has the number 42 Toyota Tundra running on rails here at Knoxville. Whoa, a big slide. An absolute textbook slide job as the 42 absolutely hucks it around James Morris, but just like that, runs out of track, gets in the wall, puts some race stripes on the 42. But now that he's got a let's call it a 4-second gap over second place Matthew Selby. Alt knows, hey, you don't have to push right now, just be careful, choose my passes carefully. And he should be able to comfortably keep cruising and maintain that gap, because now Selby, he's going to work through all those lap trucks as well. Selby doing a good job. His last lap was a 23.83 compared to Alt's 23.26. Meanwhile, Zach Godwin still up 8 positions, clicking off 24.65s. Godwin, the number 8 machine, has had a heck of a night too. They're doing a good job, regain some positions, get back out, but man, what a fleet of drivers behind him. He's got Collins about 1 second off, and then lap traffic really coming into play and pushing hard. Oh no, hold on to it, Zach. Zach has a huge moment, goes off the inside of the track. That's going to allow Collins, I believe, to pass on the outside here. A lot of these trucks not really battling for position, just happy to have somebody to race with. It's 17 to go, so quickly running out of time and praying for caution to try and get their lap back. And what's really scary is Dylan Alt making his way around the track. Will be catching this pack very, very shortly. Alt finds himself about 7 seconds behind on track. Zenla Collins in in their Chevrolet. But we're also seeing Alt starting to hit that wall a little bit more. I'm not sure if the track's falling off so much he can't run his preferred high line and is trying to figure something else out, or if maybe he has something else going on. But you can see him try and run that line as close as he can, but more often than not he's been giving the wall a little bit of love tap. And now you should start seeing a fleet of lapped cars in front of him. Really working the throttle of the 42 machine, trying to keep the power down, never really getting full throttle. Absolutely hucks it in there. Tries to do a quick slide job on some lap traffic. There's Sauls in front of Alt right now. You can hear how much throttle control these drivers really have to do to maintain a semblance of traction. 13 laps to go. Can Alt navigate all this lap traffic cleanly? So far, great racing. Dylan Alt still out front. Matthew Selby second. Zach Godwin third. Alt's got to be very careful here. It just takes one lap truck to make a mistake and slide out into the wall, and he can find himself trapped and involved with an incident. So Alt being very, very careful navigating this lap traffic. He's going to get around the 54 machine of John Crow Sr. Just in front of Dylan Alt, you should start seeing James or Zenla Collins in front of you. And look how dusty this racetrack has really become. It has got to be tough for these drivers to really see and hit their marks. Everybody's still battling hard. 10 laps to go. We did get a report from some of our drivers that the last caution we saw was an accidental caution. The flagman was trying to clear some black flags and accidentally dropped the yellow flag out on the track, so that brought out the unexpected caution. Richard joined in today saying he was a squirrel. We got to feel for Richard. We know how hard it is to hold on. And just like that, another caution. Ty Cole goes spinning around and brings out possibly our last caution of the night. It's our 11th caution with 8 to go. Let's look here and see what happened to Ty Cole. Ty Cole in the 41. Drifts up the racetrack, gets in the back of the 58 just a tad, unsettles both of their machines. And Cole may have had a check up there to try avoid getting into him again. Locks up the brakes, spins it across that super slippery raceway, gets it going, just unfortunately not in time before the caution came out. Almost, look at that, almost wedged himself up there. Cole having to drop it into 4 low to get off that bump here in Knoxville, able to get it going, so that is why the caution came out for driver safety. A little bit of a note for our fans at home. There will be 10. You heard that right. Hold up your fingers and toes unless something's gone wrong. 10 green-white checker attempts. They say that the real NASCAR series has unlimited attempts, so they're trying to mimic that the best they can. No one here wants to see this end under caution after, I believe, 11 cautions here tonight. It could be a mad dash. It's going to be about 5 to go once they cross the line for the start-finish line. 4 drivers still on the lead lap. Dylan Alt, Matthew Selby, Zach Godwin, Zenla Collins is our top 4 drivers on the lead lap. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I do know it's going to be a heck of a show. There we go, Dylan Alt on the low line, Matthew Selby on the high line. Green flag is out and these drivers are pushing. Oh, some swapping back and forth. You see Alt run the high line, yellow flag out again. Collins and Saul's involved. Let's get your replay. So Collins in the number 58 machine on the bottom of your screen. Saul's is in the 76. Let's back that up once more. That deserves a slow motion replay. So look at that. That's going to be the 58 of Collins, drifts up the racetrack, and I believe that might have been Saul's. We see just get absolutely collected by it as they both have to run it down hard in the inside wall. Man, they both hit hard on that inside wall. Hate to see that for both Collins and Saul's. Having a rough night here at Knoxville as we bring out our 12th caution of the night with 4 laps to go. So this should put us very, very close to green-white checker conditions. Here we go. We're going to try and make something happen. Matthew Selby out front. Dylan Alt running in second. We still showing his caution, so we may be waiting for a wave around or not sure what's happening here. Shows 2 laps to go. Not sure why the caution's still out. I believe these drivers having to go around and catch up to the pace truck if I'm understanding this correctly. That is indeed what was happening there. So Matthew Selby, Dylan all putting on a little pregame show, getting everything warmed up. Let's see, we're in green-white conditions here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see, can they make it through the green-white checker? We're going to line them up, possibly for the last time here in Knoxville. All eyes on Matthew Selby, Dylan Alt, our front row. Zach Godwin, Zenla Collins, our second row. Let's see what happens. There goes Matthew Selby with a great, great launch. He's had a very rough night. Dylan Alt running the high line in the 42. all over the outside wall is going to allow a little bit of breathing room for Matthew Selby. 2 laps to go. Can Selby hold on to it? Alt trying to use every inch of racetrack and then some. Really slowing himself down, getting into that wall, allowing Matthew Selby. But look at that. Here they come side by side down the finish line. It's a white flag out. Dylan Alt makes the pass. Matthew Selby, he gets his turn to the wall. Who's going to get the best drive out of the corner here? It looks like Selby's got to run. There's a big crash, but no caution will come out. We're on the white flag. A big slide job from the 46X Matthew Selby. Not able to make it sick. Alt tucks down the low line. And just like that, Alt is going to bring it home for the C4 Motorsports Knoxville Showdown. A spectacular race here tonight. So it's going to be Alt out front, Selby in second, Zach Godwin in third. Boy, what a race. You're going to give your old broadcaster a heart attack. That was a great one to call. Did not know which way that was going to go here at the end. Fantastic drive from all of our competitors out here. All going to burn it down and throw on a show for the friends and fans. A spectacular finish here tonight. A heck of a show from start to finish. 120 laps, 2 heat races. No one knew how that was going to go. So well done to Alt. Qualified up front. Had to put himself all the way to the back of the EOL. And just a very, very wild night from all of our competitors. It was a heck of a show again. And also thanks to our sponsors, C4 Motorsports, helping to bring the action to you here tonight. We greatly appreciate those guys for everything they do and the Hung Throttle eSports series. Also like to thank Caldwell Co., Severe Weather, and Nat for their support tonight. Always appreciated. And finally, we'd like to thank Line of Duty Firearms for their support tonight. Couldn't be able to put on these shows without you guys. Looking forward to the rest of the series these drivers are going to put on every Tuesday at the Hung Throttle eSports series. Always a great time. We're going to try and get our drivers into the broadcast booth. Up first, we've got third place finisher Zach Godwin. Zach, do you read me?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Zach, what a wild night that went into today's race at Knoxville. I don't think anybody expected what we saw out there. What did it look like from behind your mud-covered windshield?
Oh, it looked like chaos is what it looked like to me. That was one hell of a race. So it was my first time ever racing these trucks on dirt, and it did not disappoint at all.
It looked to me like it was a game of survival for a lot of the competitors. How were you able to keep that number 8 truck relatively clean throughout the night?
I'll be honest with you, I don't even know. I'm still in awe myself, man. I can't believe we kept it together and we kept it running. I can't believe it. There was a lot of wrecking going on out there and a lot of close calls, and I think I just got lucky and got a good team behind me over here at Mullet Racing. Had some good coaching out here, kind of walking me through the race and kind of kept me driving straight.
Well done tonight, Zach. I know you're currently 9th in points before tonight. That's going to definitely help you out in the points chase, get you back in the mix of it. How are you feeling going into next week at Chicagoland, coming from a dirt circuit this week?
We're going back to bread and butter, baby, back on the asphalt. That's where we like to be. We're not too comfortable out here on these dirt tracks, but we gave it a try, and I feel like it did not disappoint at all. So I can't wait to get out here on some asphalt again and run it.
Well, fantastic job here tonight, Zach. Before we let you go, anybody you'd like to thank that may be watching you out there on the old internet?
Honestly, just want to give a shout out to my team over here at Mullet Racing, man. We got Don Fish really helping me out. We got a new recruit we just picked up, and he's awesome, man. Zendel Collins, he's really helped me out going out here with my first time ever looking at dirt. He really kind of ran me through the ropes here and gave me some pointers, and it came out there and it put down the third place finish. I'm happy.
Well, the teamwork makes the dream work. Always a pleasure, Zach. We hopefully see you in the podium box next week as well.
Good deal. Appreciate it, guys.
All right, we were unable to get second place. Matthew Selby up in the book, but there we go. He just showed up. Matthew Selby in the 46X. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Selby, that was an exciting race, an absolute roller coaster for you tonight. I mean, you qualified up front, and you got knocked back with the EOL, and then just one little tail tap really set your night on fire.
Yeah, it did. We felt like we was on rails. Didn't know if we had much for Alt, and I mean he was quick for sure. I mean I felt like we did good. My whole crew here, 4 Link Motorsports, Down Dirty Steps and Designs. Coming from dirt, it's first truck setup we've ever attempted to build, ever. So we felt like we did pretty good on that end.
You guys made it look easy out there. You guys put on a fantastic show in the last couple laps. We saw one of the wildest slide jobs I've ever had the pleasure of broadcasting. Did you just kind of fall a little bit short, or you were just throwing everything at the wall to see what stuck against Alt after his dominant run today?
No, man, we knew we had something for him if the track went up top. We got back there in the back, and we got involved in a few wrecks back there, and the engine was hurt pretty bad. I didn't have no power. I had a 514 gear in her, and she wasn't even touching the red limiter.
Wow.
And it was a battle all night after I got that damage, and after I got spun right there, or spun myself out, ran out of talent, whatever you want to say it.
I like ran out of talent. That one sounds good. Well, Selby, again, I mean, great run tonight, man. You guys put on a spectacular show. Second is nothing to sneeze at, especially after we saw so many good drivers taken out throughout the night. Before we let you sign off for the night and start getting ready for next week, anybody like to thank that may be watching along at home today?
Yes, sir. First, I got to thank all the sponsors. Down Dirty Steps and Designs, of course. Abruzzi USA, Abruzzi Racewear. Thank them for supporting me, even from my console days. Really appreciate them coming on board, all my dirt stuff on here of late. Got to thank all of our setup builders, all the guys that's helped us on the setup. Marshall Strong, Jarrett Jones, and also got to shout out my mama, Denisha Selby.
Spoken like a true professional. Matthew, an absolute pleasure having you out on track and in the broadcast booth. We hope to see you doing well again next week, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
All right, up next, the man of the hour, the number 42 machine, piloted by Dylan. Dylan, I mean, a great run from start to finish. Were you at all worried looking in their rear view, seeing the carnage happening behind you?
Not really. I just try to run my own race, just be calm, and just basically just run my own race and bring it home to the checkered.
Oh, a great run tonight, man. We could tell you guys put in a ton of work trying to get ready for tonight. How many man hours do you guys have into building the setup for this week and getting the practice run so you know you can come out there and put down the lap times you did?
Like 2 weeks ago, because I'm running the Road to Pro Series on Thursday. I made it to round 2, so it's like the top 70 from round 1 goes into round 2. So I'm basically practicing hours on hours and hours with Elliott Sadler eSports and Lowline Racing, my team. And so yeah, we're just practicing with this, and then I stumbled upon your guys' little race, and I found out that it was open setup and it was at Knoxville in the trucks, and me to get more practice we'd run this 120 lap race. So yeah, I was just running this race for money and also for a lot of practice for Thursday. So yeah, I spent more than 15 hours of Knoxville testing just to try to get the setup tight, built amazing. It drives amazing. So
for you guys listening along at home out there across the world, that's what it takes to run at the top point here at Hunk Throttle Esports, as well as our Road to Pro guys. Great to see you out there all coming in and doing a great run tonight. We hope to see you do it well at the Road to Pro as well. I know I'll be tuning in. You've gained a new fan, at least from me. Before we let you sign off for the night and get back to grinding out laps, anybody you'd like to thank out there that may be watching?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Elliott Sadler Esports, Lowline Racing, my team, and Donovan Strauss for making a heater of a set, and Brendan also working on the setup too, and everybody at Lowline. So thank you, and you guys for broadcasting, everyone for this race, and it was fun.
Well, great job, Dylan. We hope to see you doing well on your Road to Pro adventures, and we wish you the absolute best of luck, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it for us here at the Hunk Throttle Esports C4 Motorsports Knoxville Showdown. presented to you by Caldwell Co-Weather and C4 Motorsports. On behalf of Team Goon Squad Broadcasting, I am James East, always bringing the action, 1080p, 60 frames a second. We'll see you on a different network as Hunk Throttle begins broadcasting all of their Tuesday night events. Don't miss out on the action. Sign up, race yourself, or tune in and watch some fast guys go quick. I'll see you guys next week. Have a great evening, and thank you. Good night.